All right, this is a recap then of Wonderful Tonight. Um, so first things first, the main, uh, lick and riff or whatever is played over the intro chords, which are basically the same as the verse chords. You have G, you have F sharp over D over F sharp, right, which is basically a D chord. You have C, and you have D. Okay, so it's just over and over G, D, C, D. It's a 4 count on each of those, and then it gets into, I guess, what is really the chorus. Kind of feels more like the end of the verse, though, really. And he goes, and then you ask me, right? Do I feel alright? And I say yes. I feel wonderful tonight. Okay, so in effect, it's G, D, C, D, right? G, D, C, D, and then C, D, G, D, E, and then C and D. I feel wonderful tonight, right? Now that thing I did walking into that ending, it's open A string, open A, 2A, 3A, walking into a C chord. And then she asked me, right? And then this walk down, G, that's again that D chord with the F sharp in the bass, and then to E minor. Okay. Now, real quick, I was mentioning if you have trouble getting the fingering down for that D over F sharp chord, all it's doing is taking the F sharp that we're playing right here on the high E second fret and moving it to the low E second fret. So what happens is if you make your regular D chord and then you move your second finger to where your first finger was, and then your first finger to the low E string. And the idea is to try not to hit the high E. It's not going to make that big of a difference if you do hit it, but technically we don't want to hit it. Okay, the only other part of the song, chord-wise, that we need to discuss is, I guess what you could call like the bridge or the middle eight or whatever you want to refer to it as. And that's the part where he says, I feel wonderful because I see the love right in your eyes, right? And the wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. And it goes right back in. So that was just a lot of the similar changes, just sort of a different, similar chords and similar changes, just sort of different part. So it's C, I feel wonderful because I see the D, the G walk down, to E minor, and then C to D. The wonder of it all is that you just don't realize how much I love you. Right? Okay, that covers all the chords. Now, one thing that we talked about too was EC is really arpeggiating the chords, or picking, and so, but he's not playing these chords, even though that's the chord on the cover of the album. He's not playing that. He's playing like this. Now, we can get into that later, but basically, he's really only playing on the string sets of D, G, and B. So you have your D string, G string, B string, G chord, and it slides back, and you've got a D with an F sharp in the bass, then a C chord that's really fretted more like an A minor 7 chord, and then a D chord. But he's really only picking on strings D, G, and B, which makes it easier to sing and sort of meander and pick. I'm not sure it's like a definitive, definite picking pattern every time when he's playing it live, but it's essentially like that. Okay, now that covers, I believe, all the main parts of the song. In the intro, he plays, the main tagline lick that. Okay, so we talked about a couple of different ways that we could do that and do the parts. And so again, we're at the 8, 9, and 10th frets, and it's important to use all three fingers really to do a bend. It gives you the most power, right, to bend the note. And what we're doing here, in effect, we're on the B string at the 10th fret. We're bending it a full step. So the note that we're playing here, that's an A note. We're going to bend it up to the B note. Okay? So you can, remember we talked about checking your bend that way. The other thing you can do is put your trusty snark on the headstock of your guitar and watch the tuner as you bend it from A and see if you can get it to B. That's where we want it to be. But the problem that we were having in the lesson the other day was the finger was coming off the string on the bend. And really it's a bend and a release. When you're looking at tabs online and stuff, it'll say BR, and that's what that stands for, bend and release. So you really want to keep all three fingers on the string for the bend up and bringing it back down. To the 9th fret of the G, and then maybe shake it a little vibrato. That's the first time through in the intro, and then the second time through is going to have a different ending, but the first two times will be the same. That's how we were doing it in the lesson with the slide there at the end. But I feel like working on the bends is really important, so why not just try to do that ending with the bend? You could continue on up the B string and end it the way I was doing it, which was so finger-wise, fret-wise, it was third finger here on that A note, and it just walks up. So we're at 10, 12, 13, then 15, and you're going to bend 15 up to 17 and bring it back down. All right? So let me see here. I recorded, I got the looper going here, try to get the pattern going. The other thing is the count is, it's, here comes the G, 1, 2, da-da-da-da. So it's on the 3, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Okay, here comes the G, 1, 2. So that's basically what's happening. We let it go through like 2 more times or 3 more times for you. Maybe you can use this. I don't know, it's a little fast, but here comes G. basically all of it in a nutshell. Okay, so I hope that's helpful to you, and I'll see you next time.